Science has already shown that the body speaks, but when it comes to women, the body whispers. And those who don't learn to hear those whispers get lost in messages hidden in the touch, intentional confusion, and subtle manipulation that cloud emotional clarity. In this video, we're going to decode the gestures most men overlook, but that reveal everything. You might think it's just a touch, a casual gesture. But a woman's true intent when she touches your arm goes far beyond what the eyes can see. What seems innocent may actually be a silent invitation, an emotional trigger, or even a test of masculinity that few men are mature enough to recognize. And the most fascinating part? While you think you're in control, she may be guiding the entire power game with just a soft glide of her fingers on your skin. Stick around until the end. If you leave early, you risk continuing to live in the dark, unaware of what's happening, while being tested, evaluated, and discarded. The difference between an average man and a man of presence lies in how he responds to these signals. And if at any moment this content makes you think, how did I never notice this before? Take that as a cue to strengthen your learning. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and drop a comment below. Your engagement makes a difference, for you, and for every man walking this same path. Now it's time to dive into the first sign that changes everything. Point 1. When the touch comes before the words, most men believe communication starts with words. But the most intuitive women speak with their bodies first. A sudden or subtle touch on the arm can mark the beginning of a silent conversation, one where much more than words is at stake. Right there lies a message hidden in the touch, filled with intention and expectation. It's like she wants to test the ground before taking the next step. She's measuring your reaction, gauging your firmness, checking your level of comfort. A man who misses that may overlook a clear silent invitation or overreact and break the moment. The challenge is finding the balance between perception and restraint. That touch may even carry a feminine sexual curiosity, masked behind an innocent excuse like, "Wow, your arms are strong," or "It's chilly in here, right?" Behind that, more often than not, lies a desire to test what your body communicates: strength, confidence, control, all without saying a word. And you, would you know how to read it? Now, if that touch catches you off guard and you pull back, she'll notice too. Your masculine instinctive response says a lot, whether you control your emotions or let them control you. A man who gets it holds eye contact, smiles with confidence, and keeps the conversation flowing without losing his center. That's emotional dominance. Sometimes it's just a seductive touch, a light test to see if there's a spark. It doesn't mean she wants something right now. She just wants to see if you get the game. And this is the key point. Don't react like an excited boy, nor act like a frozen robot. Respond with presence, with energy, with maturity. The man who understands that a touch is never just a touch begins to see signals where he once saw only ordinary gestures. And that changes everything, because she'll notice that you noticed what others don't. But what about when the touch comes at unexpected, even awkward times? 2. When the touch becomes a weapon of testing sometimes. A touch on the arm isn't about affection or flirting. It's about observing. Smart women know that many men completely shift their behavior at the first sign of physical contact. So she reaches out like it means nothing, but is watching for everything. That's where the test of masculinity comes in. Subtle, light, but precise. That if you smile too much, get overly excited, stumble on your words, or rush to return the touch, she senses the instability. The safety she was scanning for vanishes. What could have been enigmatic attraction becomes silent. Disappointment. A high-value man isn't measured by words, but by how stable he remains under feminine intensity. This type of touch might happen in public, with friends, mid-conversation. She touches you, and then watches how you carry yourself. Do you lead, or do you shrink? The power dynamic is in play, even if you don't notice. And if you don't notice, she'll know you're not ready to step into your role as a man. Emotionally trained men don't react instantly. They absorb, read, interpret, and only then respond. That calm silence, that's where true emotional dominance lives. While the average man talks too much or tries to show off, the centered man observes. And when he speaks, it's few words, but right on target. That it's not about playing games with her. It's about not playing against yourself. Try this. The next time a woman casually touches you, don't rush to touch her back. Just meet her eyes naturally, and continue the conversation with calm firmness. That one move breaks the cycle of subtle manipulation often launched through touch. And what if the touch isn't even about you? What if it's about the environment, someone else, or even her own insecurities hiding behind a soft gesture? 3. When the touch hides desire, there comes a moment when a woman's touch is no longer just a test. It becomes warm, intentional, rhythmic. Her finger might glide gently, linger a second longer, or press into your skin just slightly. That's the awakening of desire, a silent signal that says, "I'm feeling you. Are you feeling me too?" It's like a secret code between instinct and flesh. A woman might do it without saying a word, but her energy says everything. And here's what most men miss. That touch triggers subconscious attraction that speaks directly to your biology. You feel it, but don't understand. You react, but can't explain. That's her power that if a man isn't emotionally ready, he'll misinterpret it. He might think it's love when it's just the start of sexual tension. Or he might ignore it and miss the deepest connection of the night. At that point, the touch becomes a provocative spark, and you need the sensitivity not to overstep. Not every fire needs to be put out. Some women are masters of this art. They know how to release sexual energy without ever looking vulgar. And if you're mature enough, you'll notice it and respond with calm, with depth, with magnetism. How? Lower your voice, hold her gaze, slow down your pace. Her body may be saying, "Come closer," but your self-control says, "Not yet." This kind of exchange is driven by a primal emotional trigger, anticipation. The touch lights the fire, but the calm, grounded response is what truly seduces. A man of presence knows desire grows in silence. And he doesn't break that spell, trying to prove himself. He just stays. Still, powerful, calling without calling. Quick pause. If this kind of content is opening your eyes to things you never noticed before, hit that like button now and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. Let's keep going. But what about when the touch becomes casual, repeated, almost like a habit? Is it still desire or a distraction in disguise? 4. When the touch is a validation tool, some women touch a man's arm not because they're attracted to him, but because they want to see if he finds them attractive. That's right. It's a subtle search for approval. The touch becomes a mirror. She wants to see how you see her, without risking being vulnerable. That's pure hidden intention, dressed in politeness. This behavior has a basis in science. According to nonverbal communication research, light and casual touch is one of the most effective ways to spark interest without taking real risks. If she senses you're desirable but haven't shown interest yet, the touch becomes a silent test to provoke a response. A power game disguised as warmth. Watch closely. These women repeat the touch during neutral moments, mid-conversation, while saying goodbye or laughing at something silly. They touch and observe. If you respond obviously, she knows she has power over you. If you act cold, she feels like she may be overstepping. That's why calibrating your masculine instinctive response is so key. Not too much, not too little. The biggest mistake men make is assuming every touch is sexual interest. Sometimes, it's just intentional confusion, a way to play with your limits, to test your emotional balance. Women who do this often aren't looking for connection, they're seeking affirmation. They want to know if their charm still holds power to So how should you respond? The key is to hold your composure. Stay grounded in the conversation. You don't need to return the touch. You don't need to pull away either. Just stay firm, focused, present. What does that say? That she can try what she wants, but you're not easily shaken. That's real emotional dominance. And when she realizes she couldn't throw you off balance, something shifts. Because now the power slips out of her hands and starts orbiting around your self-control. But what happens when the touch is timid, quick, almost as if she's unsure of herself? 5. When the touch reveals more about her than you sometimes, a touch on the arm isn't meant to test, seduce, or tease you. It's about her, about what she needs, about the emotional weight she's carrying. When a woman touches you with gentle frequency, as if seeking shelter in that gesture, she may be trying to regulate her own emotions. This is the most unconscious form of seductive touch, and the most honest. It often happens in moments of stress or vulnerability, or when she feels observed and wants to feel seen by you. The touch becomes a kind of emotional anchor, a quiet request for connection. She wants to feel safe, She wants to know if she can trust, and she communicates that through a simple gesture, filled with subconscious attraction, even if she doesn't realize it. This can show up during a serious conversation, or when she's opening up emotionally. She touches you and watches. Will you stay present? In this moment, it's not about sex. It's not about validation. It's about emotional closeness. She wants to see if you can handle her inner world without backing away. And that's a silent invitation to something deeper. Too many men mistake this for flirting and ruin it with jokes or immature behavior. That kills the moment. The woman feels alone, even with someone right beside her. The secret? Hold space. Stay there. Don't rush to fix anything. Sometimes, she just wants to know you're still with her. That, by itself, is a form of seduction that touches her deeply. Notice also the quick, seemingly random touches, followed by restrained smiles or diverted eyes. That's an emotional trigger set off by you. She feels something but doesn't want to say it, so she moves. If you understand that, you understand everything. If you don't, you may lose women who were opening doors with their bodies. Now that you know a woman's touch on your arm can hold more meaning than 1,000 words, the question is, will you keep ignoring those signs, or will you start to see the game for what it really is? Reading a woman's silent language is what separates average men from conscious, magnetic ones. How many times have you missed out because you didn't notice what was right in front of you? How many women touched you, and you reacted like nothing happened? Were you really in control, or were you being led the entire time? If you've ever experienced this, drop a comment below. Now I see the touch. Type that phrase to mark your commitment to stepping out of emotional blindness and reclaiming control over your love life with clarity and maturity. Your story could be the wake-up call another man needs. Thank you so much for watching this far. It shows that you take your personal growth seriously. Truly, that you're willing to grow as a man with more emotional intelligence, more presence, and more authenticity. I deeply appreciate your attention, your energy, and your dedication to becoming better. If this video helped you in any way, go ahead and like it, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss another insight that could change how you see and succeed with women.